I need to brief you on an extremely dangerous weather situation that is unfolding right now across the United States. We are tracking one of the most significant winter storms to impact this country in years, combined with what could be a record-breaking Arctic outbreak. This is not a single event. This is a multi-day, multifaceted weather crisis that will affect hundreds of millions of people from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian border. Over 110 people have already lost their lives in weather-related incidents over the past 2 weeks. That number is going to rise. This is serious, and it requires your immediate attention. Let me start with the storm system itself. Right now, we have two distinct pieces of energy that are moving across the country. The first is a clipper system diving out of Canada through the northern plains. The second is a wave of energy lifting northeast out of the southern plains and the Gulf Coast region. These two systems are going to phase together over the next 24 to 36 hours. When they do, we expect rapid intensification. The meteorological term for what we are about to see is bombogenesis. That means the central pressure of this storm is going to drop at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. This is the scientific definition of a bomb cyclone. It is not hype. It is not exaggeration. It is a real atmospheric process that produces extremely intense weather systems. The latest model guidance is showing this storm bottoming out with central pressure values near 970 millibars by Saturday afternoon. That is an exceptionally strong system for a winter storm affecting the eastern United States. To put that in context, that pressure is comparable to a strong Category 1 or weak Category 2 hurricane. The difference is that this energy will manifest as heavy snow, blizzard conditions, and life-threatening cold rather than tropical storm characteristics. This storm is going to be intense, and the impacts are going to be widespread. Let me talk about timing because understanding when this hits is critical for preparation. Tonight through early Friday morning, we are going to see the initial setup phase. Light to moderate snow will develop across the Ohio Valley, parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, and the southern Appalachians. This is just the beginning. By Friday afternoon and evening, the system will start to intensify. Snow will overspread the mid-Atlantic and the interior Northeast. We are talking about areas from West Virginia through Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and into northern New England. Friday night is when things really ramp up. Heavy snow will be falling across a huge area from the southern Appalachians all the way through New England. Saturday is the critical day. This is when the storm reaches peak intensity. Blizzard conditions are expected across portions of the Northeast and New England. We are talking about sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour, with gusts reaching 60 to 70 miles per hour in some locations. When you combine those wind speeds with snowfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour, you get whiteout conditions. Visibility will drop to near zero. Travel will be impossible. This is not the kind of weather where you try to go to the store or run errands. This is the kind of weather where you stay home and wait it out. By Saturday evening and into Sunday morning, the storm will begin to pull away toward the northeast. The heaviest snow will shift into northern New England and eastern Canada. Areas from Boston through Portland, Maine will still be dealing with heavy snow and strong winds well into Sunday. Most other areas will see conditions begin to improve late Saturday night, but the impacts will linger for days. Now let me break down what we are expecting region by region, because the impacts are going to vary significantly depending on where you are. Let me start in the southeast. This is where things get particularly interesting and frankly unprecedented for this time of year. We have a legitimate chance of seeing snow as far south as northern Florida. I am talking about areas around Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and potentially even the Daytona Beach area. This is extremely rare. The last time we saw meaningful snow in northern Florida was decades ago. The setup for this event is driven by the Arctic air mass that is already in place. Temperatures are going to be well below freezing across the entire southeast, and when the moisture arrives, it will fall as snow. For cities like Atlanta, we are looking at the potential for 1 to 3 inches of snow. That might not sound like much, but in a city that does not regularly deal with winter weather, even a coating of snow brings the entire metro area to a standstill. Roads will be icy. Power outages are likely. For the Carolinas, particularly the Piedmont regions of North Carolina and South Carolina, we could see 3 to 6 inches of snow. Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, these cities could all see significant accumulation information. Upstate South Carolina and the North Carolina mountains could see 6 to 12 inches. Moving into the mid-Atlantic, this is where we start to see some of the highest totals. The I-95 corridor from Richmond through Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, and into New York is in a tricky position. A lot depends on the exact track of the storm. If the low tracks close to the coast, these areas see mostly rain or a rain-snow mix with lower totals. If the low tracks further inland, they could see significant snow. Right now, the most likely scenario is that areas west of I-95 see the heaviest snow. We are talking about places like Harrisburg, State College, Altoona in Pennsylvania. These areas could see 8 to 14 inches. Areas closer to the coast will likely see 3 to 6 inches, but again, small changes in track make a big difference. For New England, this is where the storm really delivers. Interior sections of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are looking at widespread 12 to 18 inches of snow. Some locations could approach or exceed 2 feet. Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard are going to get hammered by this system. Not only will they see heavy snow, but they will also deal with coastal flooding and beach erosion from the strong onshore winds. This is a true nor'easter for coastal New England, and it is going to be a significant event. Now let me address the winds, because this is one of the most dangerous aspects of this storm. When a system undergoes bombogenesis, it creates a very tight pressure gradient. That gradient drives extremely strong winds. We are expecting sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour across a broad area from the mid-Atlantic through New England. Gusts will be much higher. Coastal areas could see gusts of 65 to 75 miles per hour. That is near hurricane force. Even inland areas could see gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. These winds are going to cause widespread power outages. Trees will come down. Power lines will snap. If you lose power during this storm, you could be without electricity for days in some of the hardest hit areas. The blizzard conditions are going to make this storm particularly dangerous. A blizzard is not just heavy snow, it is a specific set of conditions defined by the National Weather Service. You need sustained winds or frequent gusts of 35 miles per hour or greater, and you need falling or blowing snow that reduces visibility to a quarter mile or less for at least 3 hours. Large portions of New England are going to meet that criteria Saturday into Saturday night. When you are in a blizzard, you cannot see. You cannot tell where the road is. You cannot tell where you are going. If you get stuck outside or in your car, it becomes a life-threatening situation very quickly. Now, let me talk about what happens after this storm, because in many ways, what comes next is even more dangerous. Behind this system, we are going to see an Arctic air mass of truly historic proportions surge south across the entire eastern half of the United States. This is not just cold. This is record-threatening, life-threatening cold that will persist for days. The core of this Arctic air is currently over northern Canada. Temperatures there are running 40 to 60 degrees below zero in some locations. That air mass will pour south starting this weekend. By Sunday and Monday, cities across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Southeast will see temperatures 30 to 50 degrees below normal. Morning lows Monday could be single digits as far south as Atlanta. Nashville could see 0 degrees. Pittsburgh and Columbus could drop below zero. Wind chills will be even more extreme. We are talking about wind chills of 20 to 40 degrees below zero across a huge area. What makes this Arctic outbreak particularly dangerous is how far south it penetrates and how long it lasts. The freezing line is going to push all the way into central and southern Florida. Tampa could see temperatures in the upper 30s. Orlando could drop to freezing or just below. Even Miami could see temperatures in the low to mid 40s with wind chills in the upper 30s. For a region that is not designed for cold weather, this is a serious infrastructure threat. Pipes will freeze and burst. Crops will be damaged or destroyed. The economic impact will be measured in the hundreds of millions of dollars. This cold is going to last. High temperatures on Monday across much of the East will struggle to get above freezing. Many areas will stay in the teens and 20s all day. Tuesday will be similarly cold. Wednesday will offer minimal improvement. It will not be until late in the week that we start to see any meaningful moderation. That means any snow or ice on the ground from the weekend storm will not melt. Roads will stay dangerous. Travel will remain hazardous. The impacts from this weather event are going to last well into next week. I need to address the human toll of this weather pattern. Over the past 2 weeks, more than 110 people have died in weather-related incidents across the United States. That includes deaths from hypothermia, carbon monoxide poisoning, vehicle accidents on icy roads, and other cold-related causes. With this storm and the Arctic outbreak that follows, that number is going to rise. This is already one of the deadliest winter weather events in recent memory, and we are not done yet. There are still people without power from previous storms. Communities are still recovering from damage. Now we are about to hit them again with dangerous weather. This is why preparation is critical. Check on neighbors. Make sure elderly family members have what they need. If you know someone vulnerable, reach out. Make sure they have heat, food, and water. Make sure they have a plan if power goes out. Protect your home. Pipes will freeze across a huge area. Let faucets drip overnight. Open cabinet doors for warm air circulation. Disconnect outdoor hoses. Know your main water shutoff location. If a pipe bursts, you need to stop water flow immediately. Stock up on supplies now. Once the storm hits, you are not going anywhere. Make sure you have enough food, water, medications, and batteries to last several days. Let me also address the uncertainty in this forecast. We are still 2 to 3 days from the storm peak. That means the forecast can still change. The exact track of the low will determine who sees the most snow. A shift of 50 miles east or west makes a huge difference. Right now, highest confidence is in the overall pattern. A major storm is coming. Blizzard conditions likely. Historic cold follows. Details are being refined, but the threat is real and imminent. There is also possibility of additional systems next week. Once this storm exits, we could see an Alberta Clipper drop from Canada mid to late week. That would bring another round of snow, though likely not as significant as this weekend. The pattern supports cold and active weather continuing for at least 7 to 10 days. To summarize, Friday into Saturday, major winter storm impacts the east. Heavy snow, blizzard conditions, power outages. Saturday night into Sunday, storm exits but historic Arctic air arrives. Sunday through Wednesday, record cold, temperatures 30 to 50 below normal. Freeze line to Florida, over 110 deaths already. Prepare now, stay safe.